Now at 10, a state of emergency tonight in Charlotte as anger over police shootings escalates. We are live from the scene.
Plus, tragedy for the Ventura County Fire Department. An 18-year veteran killed in the line of duty.
And only on 5 millions of gallons of water down the drain. And it's been going on for years. The water waster exposed now on the news at 10. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Chaos in Charlotte, North Carolina tonight. A second night of protests over police shootings turns violent.
They put out a pepper spray. People are running from it. Jerry, get out of there! Jerry, get out of there!
The governor has declared a state of emergency and the National Guard is being called up. Tonight, several officers have been hurt and at least one demonstrator was shot and is on life support.
Reporter Diane Gallagher is with us live tonight from Charlotte. Diane, what is the situation there tonight?
You know, Micah, at this time, most of those protesters have moved from the uptown area. They've kind of dispersed throughout the rest of the city. It's been a really rough few hours here in Charlotte, specifically right here in the center of the city. We are talking complete destruction of many of the buildings, many of the businesses. We had people fighting, people attacking photographers and reporters. We were pepper sprayed. You can taste and feel the spice in your nose and mouth. There was flashbangs. I mean, this really looked like something out of a movie, and it sort of took over the city. You know, Micah shared, this is my home. And I've never seen anything quite like this in the city of Charlotte. It looks like nothing I have ever seen before. The protesters, when they left this uptown area, they went to 277, which is a loop, an interstate loop around the city to try and break off and not allow traffic to go around that area. They have since sort of broken up and left that. They did that last night with I-85. They set fires to the interstate. They set fires to the intersections here as well.
Now, Diane, we understand that the police chief is saying that there is a discrepancy here, that the family is saying that he was reading a book and that he, in fact, had a gun and that they recovered a weapon at the scene.
Yeah, that's right, Cher. That's kind of the crux of all of this. The witnesses and the people who love and who are families of Keith Scott say that he was not armed. They say that there was no gun. The police say that they did recover a gun. So at this point, you have a community that believes that this is the police shooting of an unarmed African-American man. The police saying that he was armed and the police felt threatened.
A great deal of frustration in the city of Charlotte tonight. Diane Gallagher, thank you. Fury over the recent police shootings, not only in Charlotte, but in Tulsa, is putting issues of crime, punishment, and policing back in the national spotlight.
Both presidential nominees have vastly different ideas for changing police practices. Ktla 5's John Finolio joins us from the newsroom with details. John?
Sure, Micah, the shooting deaths of Terrence Crutcher in Oklahoma and Lamont Scott in North Carolina are the latest of numerous police killings to draw scrutiny from those calling for police reform. Mrs. Clinton is proposing new federal standards for police use of force. Donald Trump is advocating a controversial police tactic known as stop and frisk to be implemented nationwide.
No justice!
It is a central issue in the race for president.
Police just shot my daddy 4 times.
For all the wrong reasons. Americans outraged over fatal police shootings of black men.
Hold that police officer accountable!
Again, prompting Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to respond.
It's unbearable, and it needs to become intolerable.
At an African-American church in Cleveland, Trump took the unusual step of criticizing Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby, who shot and killed Terrence Crutcher Friday. The 40-year-old father of 4 was unarmed.
Shots fired!
Ooh. 321, we have shots fired. We have one suspect down.
This young officer, I don't know what she was thinking. Did she get scared? Was she choking? What happened? But maybe people like that, people that choke, people that do that, maybe they can't be doing what they're doing.
In Florida, Mrs. Clinton again calling for new national standards for police training.
We are safer when communities respect the police and police respect communities.
In an unprecedented move in modern presidential elections, controversial boxing promoter Don King using a racial slur while introducing Trump.
If you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro.
But it's the GOP nominee who is facing criticism for insisting that black communities are worse off than ever before.
Our African American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever, ever, ever.
Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights leader, rebuking Trump's claim.
Is this saying that the conditions are worse than when we were beaten at lunch counter or trying to get served? Is this man saying that the conditions are worse than attempting to gain the right to vote? Where is it coming from?
At a Fox News town hall tonight, someone in the audience asked Mr. Trump what he would do to combat crime in black communities. Trump said he would bring back the controversial stop and frisk tactic, which allows police to detain and search pedestrians. That policy widely criticized by the ACLU and others who say it violates minorities' civil rights. Chair Micah, back to you.
John, thank you. To breaking news now in San Pedro, Sky 5 over a crash involving several vehicles on the 110 freeway. Tim Lynn aboard Sky 5 tonight. Tim?
Well, Mike, it's 7 total here at the end of the 110 freeway as you come down to Gaffey. Just about 9:15 this evening, a very high-speed vehicle was racing southbound on the 110 as it came into that right turn, lost control, hit that big wall that's at the end of the freeway, careened around and ran into 6 vehicles that were stopped for the red light at Gaffey. Now, four people in that car took off running, one of which was tackled by citizens involved in the accident. He's in custody by CHP, but right now that Jetta is being taken up onto the tow truck and then taken out of the area. But this is going to be a mess for quite a while they figure this all out. But I can see right here the backup on the South 110. Not very bad coming away from C Street, so just going to take your time getting through here. But right now they have a big mess on their hands down here trying to figure out exactly who got hit and when here at Gaffey and the 110 in San Pedro. So I'll send it back down to you.
All right, Tim Lynn and Sky 5, thank you. FBI investigators want to speak with 2 men, possible witnesses, who could provide important information about the weekend terror attack in New York. The men were seen on surveillance video removing a pressure cooker with wires and duct tape from a piece of luggage left at a Chelsea neighborhood on Saturday. They put the device on the ground and took off with the luggage. The men are not accused of any wrongdoing, but the FBI is asking for help locating them. Meantime, terror suspect Ahmad Rahami remains hospitalized and unconscious after he was shot and wounded on Monday.
And a parent fight over a girl leads to a violent confrontation on the campus of Rancho Cucamonga High School. One student is stabbed and at least 2 others led away in handcuffs. KTLA 5's Mary Beth McDade joins us live with the latest from Rancho Cucamonga. And MB?
Well, Jared Micah, his mother says that the wound is pretty deep, and so her son will have to remain hospitalized at least for the night.
Really upsetting.
Anasa Lavender was on her way to work when she got word from her son Milan's teacher that he had been stabbed at school.
All I know was 5 kids jumped him, and one, of course, stabbed him.
This student saw the chaos on the Rancho Cucamonga High School campus Wednesday afternoon, right outside a classroom.
I ran over there to see what was going on, and I see this huge crowd next to the student that got stabbed, and he had like a shirt pressuring on his stomach.
Milan, who's 17 and a junior, was rushed to the hospital. Meantime, the high school and nearby elementary school went into lockdown while police tried to round up all those involved in the attack.
Oh, it was kind of scary because we got put on lockdown. I didn't know if they were still on campus or if they fled.
Several students were detained. As for the motive behind the stabbing, Milan's mother doesn't know all the details yet, just that it was over him saying something to a girl.
I guess the girl didn't want him to talk to him. He said something to her, and then her cousins came in and got him.
She says her son is a very friendly kid.
Milan's outgoing. He's a people person. Really down to earth type kid.
Milan's mother tells us she's not sure what this means for his football career this year. She tells us his wound will take at least a month to heal.
And for his friends, he's doing pretty good. He's just laying in the bed.
And she says that many of his friends are visiting him tonight at the hospital. Now, we should also mention that Milan is cooperating tonight with police to try to determine all of those involved. For now, reporting live in Rancho Cucamonga, Mary Beth McDade. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Mary Beth, thank you. Now, New Aten, a student at Hesperia, is under arrest tonight for allegedly making terrorist threats. The arrest comes after authorities found what they called a detailed plan to shoot 33 students and staff members at Encore High School. San Bernardino Sheriff John McMahon is confirming there were 33 names on the hit list. He also said the unidentified student had, quote, limited access to firearms. Authorities did a sweep of the school this morning and found no explosive devices. The investigation began Saturday after a parent saw threats posted on social media. The suspect is being held at a juvenile detention center tonight. Investigators believe he was acting alone.
We have some breaking news in Orange County. Police have just arrested a brazen serial burglary suspect.
He was caught on video breaking into businesses and stealing office equipment and money. Rick Chambers in Santa Ana tonight. Rick?
Yeah, Micah, this guy had been terrorizing Santa Ana's business community since late June. Now, police have a ton of pictures of him in the act, but they needed a break of some sort to catch him. And tonight, as you mentioned, they got it. Police say the burglar you see at the top of your screen is 32-year-old Albert Sierra. He's breaking into the Mexican consulate here in Santa Ana 4 days ago.
He was taking money as well as items from the office. He was taking computer equipment. There's been in excess of $10,000 worth of computer equipment.
And this is Albert Sierra burglarizing that very same consulate 2 months ago, apparently unfazed by the blaring alarm system.
He gets large, heavy objects, smashes out windows, and then enters the business.
That was, in fact, the case just last week when the same man broke into this laundromat out along First Street, pried open a cash drawer, and just took the money. But that same night, he hit this pizza place, and detectives got a shot of his Volkswagen Jetta Getaway car. Police say at least a half dozen burglaries by Sierra in Santa Ana just since June.
There is DNA and fingerprints from all these cases. He put them all together. We get a return hit on the fingerprint and DNAs, and it comes back to this individual.
And investigators described Sierra as a transient.
See, flop house to flop house. He doesn't have a residence, or at least a current residence, so we really don't know where he's at.
But during a traffic stop tonight, just about 8 o'clock, police finally took Albert Sierra into custody. And police tell us that Mr. Sierra's got a history of drug use and drug arrests, and that he was likely pulling off all these burglaries to pay for the habit. In Santa Ana, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, let me throw it back to you.
Rick, thank you. And the LAPD searching for 2 men wanted in more than a dozen violent cell phone store robberies across Los Angeles. Police say the men seen here on surveillance video typically walk into the business and threaten employees with a handgun and demand money. One victim says one of the thieves was aggressive, agitated, and appeared to be on drugs. The men have hit at least 14 stores since July, 12 of them in Central and South Los Angeles. Police are offering a $15,000 reward for information that leads to their arrest.
The Ventura County Fire Department is in mourning tonight after one firefighter was killed and another injured in a rollover accident. The men were headed to the Canyon Fire when their water truck crashed. KTLA 5's Steve Cooge reports on the tragedy from Camarillo.
Bridges from Santa Barbara County through Ventura County were filled, not with traffic, but with firefighters. Men and women standing at attention to salute this hearse and the body of the man inside.
This is something, as a firefighter, you always know that there's a potential for, but when it happens, when it hits home hard.
The man in that hearse is Ventura County Fire Engineer Ryan Osler. He died in the line of duty Wednesday morning. The 38-year-old and another firefighter were driving on CA 246, hauling water to the Canyon wildfire burning near Vandenberg Air Force Base. Officials say Osler's water-tending truck hit a curb, flipped upside down, and crashed.
We're pretty shook up. We're taking care of our own. We're taking care of Ryan's family. We have firefighters assigned to the family. We have firefighters assigned to Ryan and to the second firefighter that was injured. And we have firefighters assigned to take care of the crews from Ryan Station.
The other firefighter survived the crash, crawled out, and was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. Osler, a father of 2, had been with the Ventura County Fire Department for the last 18 years. The respect his fellow firefighters have for him on full display for everyone now to see.
We'll take care of his family, and just as he would ours if one of us were to pass.
Ryan is the kind of guy that will do anything for you, but more than that, he's the kind of guy that you can just approach and talk to and is always smiling and always positive. Just fantastic firefighter. Keep him, his family, in your thoughts and prayers.
Steve Cooge, KTLA 5 News.
And now to a story you'll see only on 5. Millions of gallons of water simply going down the drain.
And it's been happening for nearly 2 years. Casey Montoya is in Long Beach tonight with more on, frankly, an epic waste of water. Casey.
Yeah, wait till you see this, Micah. Well, a man who lives in the area says he got tired of seeing thousands of gallons of water being wasted every day. So after 2 years, he finally has some answers. It turns out a local water company is responsible for this massive water waste.
Every single day that I walk by here, I'm frustrated and angry, and this is unbelievable.
Damian Smith has lived in Carson for 10 years. About 2 years ago, he noticed construction at a new water treatment plant in the area, and this pipe appeared gushing water at an alarming rate.
A couple days went by of it just running down like this, and I was concerned. I'm thinking, like, aren't we in the middle of a drought? And they're just dumping water down the drain.
Days turned into months, and after jogging past the spewing pipe for a year, he started documenting it on his cell phone.
Today is September 28th, October 5th. This water has been running for over a year. Today is November 6th, February 6th, drought watch.
He watched thousands of gallons of water being wasted, trying to get answers from city and state officials the entire time.
If the pipe is running at a gallon per second, and it's been running for 2 years, it'd be over 63 million gallons of water that have been flushed through this pipe into the storm drain.
He finally learned the gushing pipe belonged to California Water Service.
What you're actually seeing is the discharge from a new water treatment plant that we're working through permitting to bring online. It's a long process. We've had a few hurdles along the way.
District Manager Dan Armendariz says the water discharge has been going on longer than they expected.
It doesn't look good, but there is a reason.
He says as they've been testing the water, waiting for approval from state agencies to put this facility into service, they have to continuously flush water through the plant to keep it functioning properly.
Best case scenario is what? It gets turned off, and then now there's no more water being wasted, but now there's however many millions of gallons just gone, and nobody's responsible, nobody's held accountable, nobody cares.
So officials say they couldn't capture this water and use it for something else because it hasn't been approved for consumption by the state. They also tell me they do now have their permit so that this facility behind me can get up online and running, but they couldn't give me a timetable on when that water is going to actually stop flowing. They did, however, say that once this facility is up and running, it's going to provide 1 million gallons a day for the local community. Back to you.
Wow, that is a lot of water, Casey. Thank you. Of course, in a drought, as Casey mentioned, and triple digits are here, Vera.
They are back, Micah. So we're going to enjoy tomorrow because tomorrow those temperatures are actually going to be slightly below average. In fact, tomorrow should be the coolest day of our 7-day forecast. This afternoon, though, you still felt a little bit of that lingering moisture from what used to be hurricane pain. Remember that a couple days ago? Okay, so we did have some lingering moisture. We didn't have any rain this afternoon except for very small amounts of it. But yesterday we had measurable rain, close to 2 inches, in some areas more than 2 inches, like along the Riverside foothills. Even in Redondo Beach saw 4/100ths of an inch. How do you like that? They've got a big weekend coming up. We'll tell you all about that coming up in a bit. In the meantime, 84 degrees was the high over downtown Los Angeles. That is still above average, but as I mentioned, that is going to drop tomorrow as we see a change in our wind pattern. I'll have that coming up in a bit. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Vera. Coming up here, dealing with pet peeves while traveling. Simple solutions to ease your stress.
And then some young girls claim that they were chased by a creepy clown and have the video to prove it.
And a heartbreaking update on the elderly couple who blames their grandson for their eviction from their longtime home.
And a mysterious donor drops thousands of dollars in cash in a collection box at a local animal shelter. We'll tell you just how much coming up.
And tonight was the final home Giant game for Vin Scully, and the Wild Horse did him proud. Plus, the Rams zero in on the Buccaneers. We'll hear from Jeff Fisher. And it looks like the Lakers are going to have more peace this season. Metta is coming back. Details coming up.
And it's the true story of a slave-seeking rebellion and how it relates to today. I'm Doug Kolk. We're at the premiere of The Birth of a Nation, coming up after the break.
It was quite the silent film in 1915, and now it's back on the big screen, a grand jury winner at the Sundance Film Festival.
It's The Birth of a Nation, about the hero who led a pre-Civil War slave rebellion. KTLA 5's Doug Kolk here with the story. Hey, Doug.
Good evening, Mike and Cher. It's the true story of a real American hero, one that wasn't told in the history books.
Heavenly Father, we come to thank you for your word and your will.
What is it about the story of Nat Turner that made you want to tell it?
A number of things. One, there's kind of a lack of heroes, in when it comes to the Black community.
From the poplar trees.
He embodied the spirit of resistance.
Nat Turner was born in Southampton, Virginia in the year 1800.
Black people at that time were not allowed to read or write. It was illegal.
Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous.
He was very versed in the Bible and what's written in it and all of the verses. He became a preacher.
Even though the church supported slavery in the South.
And his interpretation of the Bible indicated to him that he and his people were not treated fairly.
He led a slave insurrection.
Brethren, I pray you sing a new song.
Took a band of men from his plantation and from neighboring plantations and basically declared war.
Let the saints be joyful in glory.
So a film like this, I think, gives us context as to what was happening in 1831.
And a two-edged sword in their hands to execute vengeance on the demonic nations.
Nat Turner, a man of faith that said, I'm going to face this system head on, and pulls it into 2016 and says, what are the issues we're dealing with right now? I mean, look at the last 24 hours in this country, the last 48 hours.
Dishonor have all his saints. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
What do you think the reaction from the audience is going to be walking out of this film?
Moved and wanting to start those conversations. I mean, they start them in the seats, tears running down their eyes.
The Birth of a Nation opens theaters everywhere October 7th.
We are intrigued. All right. Thank you so much, Doug. Just ahead, how you could win a luxury getaway to Carmel.
Plus, new research explains how you can actually shed more pounds without a fitness tracker. That's next in tonight's Health Smart.
After a battery issue recall, Samsung Galaxy Note 7s are back in stores. I'll tell you what you need to know about the safety of this phone, both old and new models, coming up in the Tech Report.
Now only on 5, an elderly couple from Thousand Oaks has lost their eviction battle and is being forced to leave their home of 56 years. The couple signed their home over to their grandson, but he mismanaged the property and defaulted on loans.
And the community stepped in to help. KTLA's Corrine Winter has the story you'll see only here on 5.
I raised my 3 girls here. The holidays were always here.
These moving and storage bins parked in front of Helen and Hank Kowecki's Thousand Oaks home are not only filled with a lifetime of memories, they're a painful reminder of broken family ties. The Koweckis allege after they signed over the deed to their home to their grandson to handle financial affairs, he mortgaged the property with 3 loans and defaulted on all of them before selling the house without their knowledge.
You just don't trust a lot of people, and especially your family.
The Koweckis have ended their legal fight to avoid an eviction, and on Saturday will move into their new dwelling, a mobile home inside a senior living community in Newbury Park. Earlier today, contractors hired by local businesses that generously offered their support were busy cleaning and repairing the mobile home. The Koweckis were able to purchase it through their GoFundMe account that neighbor Doug Emerson helped to establish.
We bought the mobile home
We've raised over $125,000, so we were able to purchase that for cash.
Emerson said, unfortunately, all of that money was spent not just on the home, but on legal fees. With their bank accounts in red and the prospects of living their remaining days away from the house they've resided in for nearly 6 decades, the Koweckis were overcome with emotions.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Hank Kowecki recalled all the parties he hosted here with industry colleagues and the simple joys of retirement that included roaming his sprawling residence. Life, he says, won't be the same, but they're grateful for one thing.
A lot of people helped us out. They got piled papers, but I appreciate it.
Winter, KTLA 5 News.
A heartwarming surprise today for a crossing guard who saved an elementary school student from her would-be abductor. Adrian Young, honored with an official certificate of appreciation from the LA City Council. The incident took place August 16th at Alexandria Elementary School in East Hollywood. The guard had finished her shift when an 8-year-old student in a crosswalk told the guard that the woman with her was not her mom. A struggle ensued with Young wrestling the girl away from the clutches of her kidnapper.
Sometimes superheroes come in small packages.
I just want to say that I'm very, very grateful for all the accolades and everything, but I just did what I felt was right. And I felt that if it was my child, I would want somebody to protect her.
Young has been a crossing guard since 2002. And even though Young is under 5 feet tall and barely bigger than the girl she rescued, she still punched the kidnapper who ran away.
Boy, what an effort. The world sent them garbage. They sent back music.
An orchestra performed in East LA with instruments made from trash. KTLA 5's Courtney Friel shares their music and their inspiring story.
The famous saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, couldn't be more true for the recycled orchestra of Catayora, who are now using their treasures to inspire students like this audience in East LA. The instruments are all made from miscellaneous pieces of trash found in a landfill in Paraguay, where these young performers basically lived in and their parents worked as trash pickers inside it. That is, until Fabio Chavez got creative with his music class and formed the orchestra, which is now gaining worldwide fame thanks to Juliano Penaranda Loftus and her documentary film, Landfill Harmonic.
It's a story about hope, following your dreams, and resilience to get to where you want to be.
It took Juliana 6 years to film Landfill Harmonic. It's been in the festival circuit, winning 40 awards, but now it's getting released theatrically for the general public to see.
The value of education is also one of the main messages of the movie, and recycling, reusing everything that you have around and make something out of it, something beautiful.
One of the stars, Ada Rios, tells us in Spanish how this opportunity has transformed her life.
Cambió mucho.
She's now getting the chance to finish high school and take professional music classes, not to mention performing with Metallica and playing for the Pope. Ada's now training 8-year-old Celeste to fill her shoes, but don't even think about giving her a real violin. Because this trash is treasured and so much more. Courtney Friel, KTLA 5 News.
In tonight's Health Smart, if you're trying to lose weight, you may want to ditch that fitness tracker and chart your progress online instead. Researchers at the University of Pittsburgh studied a group of men and women tracking their fitness over 24 months. And they found that people who used wearable activity trackers lost 5 pounds less than a group on a similar program that used a website to track their progress. Despite the differences in weight loss, the study found that both groups had improved their body composition, fitness, physical activity, and diet.
A new study finds smoking cigarettes can damage your DNA even after you quit. Scientists at the National Institutes of Health found that most of the genetic damage left by smoking fades after 5 years if people quit. But some appears to remain forever. Researchers say the damage can change the way a gene functions, often causing cancer and other diseases. However, they say the encouraging news is the significant reversal of damage after 5 years, showing the body is trying to heal itself from the harmful impacts of smoking.
And Facebook's CEO Mark Zuckerberg and his pediatrician wife Priscilla plan to give away $3 billion over the next decade to cure disease. The goal is to cure, prevent, or manage all disease within their lifetime. As part of the investment, the couple is funding a $600 million research center in San Francisco that is a partnership with UC San Francisco, Stanford University, and UC Berkeley.
Coming up here, all new at 11, kids find a massive cobra slithering through the front yard.
Plus, how to deal with some of those annoying issues when it comes to traveling.
Those stories and breaking news ahead at 11, but first, your 5 Live forecast after a quick break. We have a spectacular opportunity for you. Carmel by the Sea, that European-style village on the Northern California coastline. It has inspired artists. It has sparked romances and attracted celebrities for decades. Now you have a chance to win a luxury getaway for 2 to the amazing place, and here's all you have to do.
Go to ktla.com/Carmel and submit your entry for a chance to win round-trip airfare from LAX on United Airlines, a 2-night stay at La Playa Carmel Hotel, a fine dining gift certificate at Little Napoli or Vesuvio restaurant, plus 2 passports for Carmel's Wine Walk by the Sea. I mean, this is a really fabulous getaway for one lucky KTLA viewer.
Spectacular.
Good luck.
Easy with the sea breeze.
So
nice.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's just
Right.
beautiful there. It's so quaint. Quaint. Okay, how about some change in weather? Who's ready for a little change? A little change?
Hold on.
Hold on.
It's a hot change, though.
It is. But tomorrow's still going to be cold. The heat is coming, yes, absolutely. But I'm trying to keep it at bay as long as possible because once it gets here, we're talking triple digits for some of our communities. But we've got a great weekend in store. We have a lot going on. Casey is going to be in Pasadena with the Wiggle Waggle, and I will be volunteering at the Lobster Festival in Redondo Beach, and it's going to be beautiful weather for either of those events. So we hope to see you at with Casey in Pasadena or me in Redondo Beach. Let's go ahead and take a peek outside. Look what's missing from this view, you guys. This is LAX, and there is no marine layer. No marine layer, and that's because a colder air mass is moving in. The winds are going to be a little bit stronger, and that is going to scour out that marine layer that develops during the overnight hours. And there is also no temperature inversion. It means that the temperatures are normally hotter at the surface, cooler as they rise. And when we have a temperature inversion, it means that the hot air at the upper levels of the surface, at the upper levels of the atmosphere, pardon me, is a lot warmer than what is at the surface, and that's what we call a temperature inversion. In the meantime, outside, here are some current temperatures. Still a mild 72 degrees in Van Nuys. Downtown Los Angeles finally into the 60s. I checked that temperature at like 9:30. It was still 70 degrees in downtown Los Angeles, finally in the 60s. Okay, so here's that area of low pressure, and this is what's going to change everything. This is where it sits right now. It's going to drop into the southeast, and in the next 24 hours, that is mainly going to be over Nevada. As it moves from the north to the south, it is going to produce those strong northwesterly, westerly winds. So because of that reason, we do have some dangerous fire conditions. And in fact, these fire conditions are going to last through the weekend because of this. The winds are going to shift again when that ridge of high pressure begins to take over our weather. It is going to shift the winds from the northwest to the northeast. And so that's what's going to happen as we make our way through the weekend. Right now, you're looking at the future winds. And as I put them into play, you can see that over the next 24 hours, look how much stronger they're going to get. You can just tell by the intensity of the color that those winds are definitely going to pick up. And for that reason, we have this in effect. This is a red flag warning. This is a fire weather watch, and it is also a wind advisory. And as I step away, you can see that that red flag warning is for Santa Barbara, Ventura, Los Angeles, and San Bernardino. As we make our way into the weekend, that could potentially filter into Riverside and Orange County. Right now, we only have a fire weather watch for Riverside and Orange County. But again, that could turn into a red flag warning full blown. Okay, so tonight into tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures with a nice mix of upper 50s and some low 60s. Rain only way to our north. As we take a look at what's going to happen tomorrow, the temperatures, look at that. Lots of upper 70s and low 80s. So again, tomorrow is going to be a mild day because we have a cooler air mass. Looking at that extended forecast, okay, here's where we go into the 100s. Take a look. San Fernando Valley, we go from 84 to 94. That is a 10-degree jump in just a 24-hour period, and that is for the San Fernando Valley. San Gabriel Valley, by the way, you are going to be feeling about the same. LA Coastal Basin, low 80s, and then low 90s. Again, a nice big warm jump there. For the Inland Empire, look at that, no 100s, and that is going to be nice. And for Orange County, you're going to see about that same weather pattern, and thankfully for you, no triple digits either.
Good. Yes. Okay, Vera, thank you. And good for the Dodgers tonight against the hated ones.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if everybody appreciates the fact that this is it for Vinny. And, you know, just to hear him call these games, and he got to call a really good game tonight. It was the final home Giant game for the legendary Vin Scully, and the Dodgers did him proud. In particular, the wild horse, Yasiel Puig, with a big night, as LA is on the verge of shrinking that magic number to 5. Highlights coming up. Plus, the Rams zero in on famous Jameis and the Buccaneers. What concerns Jeff Fisher the most as they get ready to head off to Tampa? And it looks like the Lakers are going to have more peace in this upcoming season. Metta is coming back. We've got the details coming up.
KTLA 5 Sports Final, powered by your Southern California Ford dealers.
Well, the Dodgers gave fans a treat tonight and gave the legendary Vin a treat as well.
Yeah, they did, and they also dealt with this big issue because we've been talking about it for a while, this whole left-handed pitching thing. For the Dodgers tonight was yet another opportunity to solve this left-handed pitching issue. They came in tonight as the worst hitting team of the majors against Southpaws. The Giants sent out Matt Moore, who you might remember almost no-hit the Dodgers the last time they met, but no such worries tonight. Bottom of the first, LA jumped right on him. Vin Scully with another classic call.
Moore in a little trouble here in the first inning. His 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball hit in the air to center and deep. Back goes Stone to the track at the wall. Gone.
Yeah, Yasiel Puig got the party started. 3-run bomb. All this happening in the bottom of the first. The Dodgers scored 5 runs in the inning. The Giants pulled more after just 1 inning of work. It was 5-1 after the 1. And then the offense just kept rolling tonight. Ahead we go. 3rd inning action. Howie Kendrick with 2 on. He drives one to right. It goes over the head of Hunter Pence. Carlos Ruiz, Charlie Culberson come on down. Kendrick actually got nailed at 3rd trying to stretch it into a triple. So the Dodgers led it 8-2. And Kenta Maeda, he liked that kind of security. He had some good stuff tonight. Again, he didn't pitch a lot of innings. 6 Ks through 5 innings of work. Got Hunter Pence and Eduardo Nunez swinging. Maeda also got some help in the field. Look at this play by the wild horse. Runs it down to rob Joe Panik. And the Dodgers cruise tonight. 9-3 the final. The magic number is down to 5. So is this a breakthrough for the Dodgers against lefties, Dave Roberts?
That's a very good club over there. And so for us to, you know, break out against a left-hander, I think that it definitely adds to the confidence in our guys. But, you know, obviously with Yasiel, what he can do, what he did defensively, you know, what he can do with the bat, you know, he's a game changer.
Quick reminder, this Friday, KTLA will be broadcasting the first of 6 of Vin Scully's final games for the Dodgers. Our pregame coverage gets started at 5:30, counting down to the game. First pitch between the Dodgers and Rockies at 7. Then next weekend, the final 3 games of his career in San Francisco. And we are also bringing those to you. And starting for the Dodgers in Friday night's game against the Rockies will be Scott Kazmir. The lefty had been dealing with a bunch of issues since heading to the DL on August 23rd. First, he had neck inflammation. Then he was diagnosed with a thoracic spine inflammation. He's 10-6 this year with a 4.59 ERA.
And that is skied high and deep to left. Mazar will watch this one fly.
Angels and Rangers wrapping up a 3-game set in Arlington. 5th inning, Mike Trout crushes his 28th of the season. 3-run shot. Angels, they get it done. 5-4 your final. Now to the Rams. They were back on the practice field today out in Thousand Oaks preparing for Sunday's game at Tampa, where they will face 6'4", 231-pound quarterback Jameis Winston. In his first 2 games this season, he's thrown for 524 and 5 touchdowns. Jeff Fisher says he presents a big challenge.
It's the vision, the quick release, the accuracy. He's got big targets. He uses the height, you know, of his targets. He runs the play action game really well. You can't find anything there, and then he'll, if he gets a shot or gets a chance, he'll pull it down and run it.
He ain't as mobile as Russell Wilson, but he definitely can move in the pocket and hurt you with his legs if you let him. So we got to make sure we watch out for that.
The Rams tonight held their inaugural LA Rams Night for Wishes with players, cheerleaders, and Rampage was there, the team mascot, on hand in Hollywood. Proceeds going to a great cause. the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Greater Los Angeles, granting wishes for children throughout the county. Here's Sunday's big hero, Alec Ogletree.
It's a special event to have kids come out and, grant them a wish, and to have the Rams be a part of it. They look up to us already, so, it's definitely something special to have us here.
Quick break, still to come. Our viral video of the night, and it looks like the Lakers are going to have more peace this season. Metta is coming back. We've got the details, plus Rich.
After a battery issue recall, Samsung Galaxy Note 7s are back in stores. I'll tell you what you need to know about the safety of this phone, both old and new models, coming up in the Tech Report.
Welcome back. Guess who's coming back to the Lakers? Metta World Peace. They came to terms on a one-year contract. Metta played 35 games last season for the Lakers. He's going to turn 37 on November 13th. Peace happens to be a former teammate of the new coach, Luke Walton.
The New York Knicks select Kristaps Porzingis.
That's the reaction Knicks fans, especially that little guy with the glasses, had back in 2015 at the NBA draft when the Knicks used their first-round pick on the 7'3" teenager from Latvia. Well, Kristaps Porzingis is now 21 years old, and he's been one of the best young players in the league. And that young man that booed him, his name's Jordan. Porzingis invited him to a Knicks game last season, and this week, Jordan
Get it out.
and Porzingis went one-on-one at the Latvians basketball camp in New York. Porzingis showed no mercy.
Wow.
Blocked his shot, dunked on him.
Well,
look, man, this is what
him.
you get. You boo me, this is what you get.
He's schooling him.
Jordan took it all in fun, I assume.
You have to take it in fun.
He had no choice.
You learn the hard way.
He'll grow up one day, though.
Yeah.
Porzingis.
I don't think he's going to be 7'3".
No. 11. That is it for the news at 10.
Breaking next at 11, a state of emergency is declared in Charlotte tonight as a second night of unrest intensifies in protest of a police shooting.
Plus, a student from a local high school is arrested in connection with an alleged hit list. The KTLA 5 News at 11 is next.